Hey, Solid Rock. Thanks for joining us for another Midweek Devotion. I want to share with you, actually, again, from John chapter 7. There are some things that I didn't have a chance to mention in last Sunday's message. If you were at church on Sunday or if you watched the video, I hope you have the basic gist of what's going on in John chapter 7. If you don't, I'm going to include a link to that video in the description here. But by way of brief summary, let me just tell you what's going on briefly. Jesus is still in the area of Galilee, still hanging around there, because to the south in Judea and specifically Jerusalem, the Jewish leaders were trying to kill him. Now, John chapter 7 shares with us Jesus' interactions with three groups of people, all of which he identifies as unbelievers. And we looked at those in specific detail on Sunday. But one of those groups that Jesus calls unbelievers were his own brothers. Now, Matthew and Mark list the names of Jesus' brothers in their Gospels as James and Judas and Simon, and they mention that he has sisters as well. But verse 5 of chapter 7 leaves the reader with this sobering thought. It says, "For even his own brothers did not believe him." Now, is this the only time that we hear about Jesus' brothers? No, it's not. And this is the point that I want to share with you. Jesus' brother James, specifically, is mentioned quite a bit in the latter part of the New Testament. In 1 Corinthians, Paul includes what many scholars believe is an early creed of the Christian church. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, starting in verse 3, he says this, "For what I received, I passed on to you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, that he was buried and raised on the third day according to the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Cephas and then to the 12. And after that, he appeared to more than 500 of the brothers and sisters at the same time, most of whom who are still living, though some have fallen asleep." Verse 7, "And then he appeared to James, and then to all the apostles." Now, the James here is not James, the brother of John, the son of Zebedee, nor is it James, the son of Alphaeus, but James, the brother of Jesus. After Jesus rose from the dead, he made it a point to appear to his brother James, and then James believed. Now, this same James would end up being a leader of the Christian church in Jerusalem. Let me say that again. This James, the brother of Jesus, who recorded in John chapter 7, did not believe in Jesus, would become the leader of the church in Jerusalem. In fact, when Peter and Paul would make reference to the leadership or the apostles or the elders, they would say James and the other elders, or James and the other apostles. Now, why is this a point worth making? It's this: we should never consider anyone written off. Just because someone doesn't believe in Jesus now doesn't mean that they won't in the future. We should not presume to know or understand God's timing in how and when he saves people. We should just faithfully and continually share the gospel of Jesus. Your friend, your parent, your sibling, your neighbor, your coworker, your classmate, just because they don't believe now doesn't mean that they will never believe. In God's timing and for his purpose and glory, he is continually calling people to himself. And he uses us through sharing the gospel to draw the net. The second point worth making in John chapter 7 is found in what people were saying about Jesus and still say about Jesus today. In John chapter 7, verse 11, It gives us a little bit of the description of the buzz that was going on concerning Jesus at this festival when he eventually did come down to Jerusalem. And it says that the Jewish leaders were looking for him, but couldn't find him. It says that some people were saying that his teaching deceived the people, and yet others were saying that he was a good man. And all of this was done in whispers, so the Jewish leaders wouldn't find out and wouldn't hear. Now, those who said he was a good man, I don't know if they were calling him a good man, making an end-all claim to who Jesus was, or if they were just simply defending him against these threats from the Jewish leaders or against accusations of those who were saying that he deceived the people. However, many people today do make an end-all claim to Jesus as simply being a good man. Ligonier Ministries, an organization and website that is committed to sound theology and discipleship, every so often conducts an extensive survey of Christians, of evangelicals. They want to know what are people, specifically those who claim to be Christians, what do they believe as compared to what does the Bible teach? And so they conduct this survey, and they just recently published their findings, and we've posted that to our Facebook page. You can find that link there. But there was one specific disheartening result of this survey, and it was in question number 7. They would make a statement, and they would have them respond, have the respondents react to that statement, whether they strongly disagree, have no opinion, agree, or strongly agree. You've taken those surveys, I'm sure. But this was the result. 30% of Christians agree with the statement that Jesus was a great teacher, but he wasn't God. 30% of those who claim to be Christians agree with the statement that Jesus was a great teacher, but was not God. Friends, a good teacher cannot die for sins. Just a good man cannot say, truthfully, I and the Father are one. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. A good teacher cannot speak healing, calm storms, or multiply food. Just a good man cannot predict his own death and resurrection and then willingly lay down his life and then rise from the dead. If anyone is trusting in just a good man, they might very well live a good and moral life and then die and go to hell. I want to share with you a lengthy quote by C.S. Lewis from his book, Mere Christianity. He says, I am trying here to prevent anyone from saying the really foolish thing that people often say about him, Jesus. I'm ready to accept Jesus as a great moral teacher, but I don't accept his claim to be God. That is the one thing we must not say. A man who was merely a man and said the sort of things that Jesus said would not be a great moral teacher. He would either be a lunatic on the level with a man who says that he's a poached egg, or else he would be the devil of hell. You must make your choice. Either this man was and is the Son of God, or else a madman, or something worse. You can shut him up for a fool, you can spit at him and kill him as a demon, or you can fall at his feet and call him Lord and God. But let us not come with any patronizing nonsense about him being a good teacher. He has not left that open to us. He did not intend to. Now, it seems to me obvious that he was neither a lunatic nor a fiend. And consequently, however strange and terrifying or unlikely it may seem, I have to accept the view that he was and is God. This is known, Josh McDowell made these three options famous in his book, More Than a Carpenter. He's either a liar, a lunatic, or he's Lord. I've heard it this way as well from Alistair Begg. He's either a deceiver, he's deluded, or he's divine. Or my favorite, he's either a con man, a madman, or the God-man. Friends, Jesus is God, and he is continually saving those the Father gives to him. No one is written off. Keep sharing the gospel. Thanks for watching.